Hello and welcome to Confide on Klebnar TV, where we create awareness, provide access, and support for mental health services. I have my guest here today, Dr. Getty Mortty, and our topic of discussion is doctor's orders for keeping mentally healthy. Hello, Getty, how are you?
Hi, Queen Jose. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, and thank you so much for coming. Like, we really appreciate your presence here. And so, for the people that are watching for the very first time, I would like to just share with you guys that Klebnar TV is a platform for Africans here in the diaspora and back home. The service is to promote our narrative, support our businesses, and just promote anything that we do. Without dragging this anymore, I would like to just share with you guys that, as I said, we'll be talking around doctor's orders for keeping mentally healthy. But before we begin, I just want to share with you guys a little bit about this amazing individual that is joining us here today. So, Dr. Getty, she is a result driven and career oriented woman with a deep interest and appreciation for cardiac physiology. She is driven with a passion to help others and create change. Wow. Sounds like you do a lot, Miss Dr. Doctor. But obviously, that's for me, that was scripted. But I want the audience to know a little bit about you. So, can you please just tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Dr. Getty and what does she like to do?
Well, thank you, Queen Jose. I call you Queen because it's your crown and you should wear it, girl. You are the Queen.
Thank
And
you.
if Josephine, my name is Gertrude Morty. That's the formal full name, but I love how you call me Getty. That's what my friends call me by, friends
Yeah.
and family alike. So, thanks so much. And like you rightly introduced, that's what I do. I'm a cardiac physiologist and a junior medical officer. But that's career wise. Now let's talk about me, who I am
Exactly.
outside of that. Uh,
Exactly.
Outside of that, to my friends, I'm known as Gertie. In my workplace, I like to bring the sunshine to the room. I
This
am known as Ray, the ray of sunshine. I
we love.
always turn up to work in like colorful scrubs because that's just who I am. I like to just bring the light to the room. I'm like a happy virus among my friends as well. Like when I'm socially out, I'm like I don't want to say the life of the party, but I'm just that happy virus that tries to like, keep everyone happy and having a good time. So in that regard, that's me. What I enjoy doing most is a good laugh. I like spending time with my family and with my friends and just having a good time aside from the stressful work, like, workload and whatnot. So when I do come out or when I do go home, I just want to have that quality time with my friends and family and appreciate that, relationship that I have with the people around me. And aside from that, what would I say?
What are your hobbies? What are some of the things that you like to do? And have you become quite adventurous lately?
Girl, I'm very adventurous. I like to try new things. I see myself as a risk taker. I like to take like new risk, travel to places that, yeah, unthinkable, like go up to Mount Everest. I know it sounds crazy. Everyone else is going up to Bali for a good time, and I'm here like, I want to go Mount Everest. I want to go climb the mountain
You like
and
to
go
challenge
bang
yourself.
something. Yeah. Quite adventurous. I love nature walks as well. Just anything peaceful, enjoyable, something like that. Aside from that, I like to see myself also as what God sees me as. So not just what I see myself as. I believe answering the question, if you had asked me this question 10 years ago, who are you? 10 years ago, where was I? Let's say I was in junior high school or even lesser, I probably would have told you, oh, hey, my name is Gertrude Morty. My father's name is this. My mother's name is that. I am that years old. Because that's the definition that, at that point, like that in that reality or in that fact, that's what you see yourself as. But as you mature and as you grow into adulthood, you begin to give yourself a different definitive, a different narrative of who you are, who you're becoming to be. and society also tries to start defining who you are by your achievements, by your success. Um, and with that, like I have grown into that phase where it's becoming more and more difficult to even answer that question
Yeah.
because yeah, you're trying to like fill in that perspective as to who really am I? Am I who I am based on the
Mm,
success or the impact that I have? Or if there's no successful impact, or if you believe that there's no achievement, doesn't mean you're nothing, you
exactly.
know. But we have
I
to
think
do
I
that.
think you've raised a really great point because obviously, when we were younger, there's a lot of that, subliminal programming from parents and community, and you know what to say. But I
Mhm.
think you get to a point in life when you really start to look within and you wonder to yourself, like, of course, you take some values that you've been raised by, but
Yeah.
there are things that you've experienced outside of, your own comfort zone and your own environment that makes you the person that you are. So it's fair to say that I think people are always choked up by that question, who are you? Because I think it depends on the season that the question is asked, because
Yeah.
like the same way you said, like yourself, like 10 years ago, if you had asked me the same question 10 years ago, I definitely, still a confident girl, but I definitely would have had more dreams than visions of
Mhm.
my life and who I am. So like, it's an interesting question, and I love how people answer it because there are people who are very confident and they're like, this is who I am, and then there are people who, like, it shows in your character. You've already said you like to try new things, so the fact that
Mhm.
you're constantly reflecting on the fact that you are always evolving and changing with time, that also attributes to that personality of you being open to trying new things, because who knows, maybe tomorrow you'll be like an athlete or you might be an adrenaline junkie. So it really is who you are at the
Mhm.
moment. So yeah, no, definitely, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about who you are,
Yeah.
but I
I
also want
think
people to
it's just a
know.
whole discovery process. Like we're still
Yeah,
discovering who we are till, the very end. Because you just
definitely.
try new things, you discover new things, you find new dreams, new goals every day.
Yeah.
It's an
and i
ongoing process.
and I
Yeah.
also don't want you to forget a very big part of who you are, because for the people that don't know you personally, like, apart from the beauty and the brains, this lady right here also has the power of words. Can you speak on that a little bit as well?
Ah, for that. Uh, so with me, like discovering who I was and discovering who I am, still in the process, I developed a love for poetry and spoken word. I had no idea I had that talent until like, growing up, and then I go up on stage and I see how my words move the stage, and I'm just amazed by how impactful words can be. So I developed this love for poetry, which today I think that's how I got to know you, Jose, in the
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
Just doing spoken word poetry. That's before everyone else knew, like what I was doing, or yeah, and whatnot. So that's been a very interesting discovery. And I do believe that there's still like some more talent and potentials out there to discover and to like work on. And yeah, thank
okay.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. So now I'll ask you a few questions. Let's just, have some fun with it. Don't think too much about it. I know you doctors, you always want to get it right, but this is a safe space, even for you. We want to know your thoughts and, I guess, your own little twist on how things should go in regards to, doctor's orders for keeping mentally healthy. So I guess the first question, just to, lighten the mood, is, what is your journey to success?
Access. That's another top deep question. Because you know
Well,
why I
this
say
this
that?
level of success, this level,
This level of success, where do I even start from?
from the beginning, from the beginning.
From the beginning. I so success to me from the very beginning, like it's been about the dreams, the visions, and whatnot. But then like becoming an adult, I begin to see success differently. It's more
Yeah,
about you, your journey in life, impact that you, not just to others but to yourself, how you develop, how you grow personally, like your own personal growth. um
Mhm.
so initially, like when being asked like success, you're thinking achievements there again. What impact have I had on the society? What impact do I have on my friends? What impact do I have on my family? But
Yeah,
then again, to be truly successful, you have to have your personal growth. What impact do you have on yourself? What are you learning from
yeah,
your experiences to be able to impact others?
yeah,
Uh, for me, success at this point, like I think I am pretty in my own safe space, I would say. I'm still getting there. Like, career wise, yes, I've gotten to a point that I've always dreamed of as a kid. I've always wanted to be a medical doctor.
yeah,
And I've always had this belief in my heart that God had put a purpose in my heart to be a healer of the
yeah.
brokenhearted. And
Amen.
I've literally literally grown into that, where being a cardiac physiologist and long term I'm speaking into existence
You
to
know,
become a
the
cardiologist.
spiritual manifests into the physical.
Exactly. Yeah. So working towards that, being a healer of broken hearted, not just not the emotional, not a psychologist to like, but like physically being able to, work on hearts. It's what I really love.
And why hearts? You know, you could have picked any other part of the body.
Girl, I don't know. The heart just spoke to me. It just
You
spoke
know,
to me. I know. I mean, like, why not the brains or anything else but the heart?
right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, in regards to, I guess, like the heart and just even what you do, like it is quite a challenging space, being in health, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess my question to you is, how do you manage, like, before we get into it, because I don't want you to just think this is all about what you can give to people, but I also want to shed light, because you being a very young person who's entered into this field, there's a lot of challenges that come with it, a lot of stresses, a lot of lifestyle things that impact your own mental health. So I guess I want to ask you, how did you manage to stay afloat and really reach your first target, because this is the first level of success. There will
Yeah.
be very, very many to come. But how did you manage? How did you manage to go through the turbulence?
Well, thank you for that. Being in medical school, as I will speak for myself and other med students that have been through it, we all know it's been a challenge. It's been really difficult. And most often as med students or like health professionals, when we're in that field, we
Yeah,
we do feel guilty for like anything else other than studying, just in the fear of failure. So
yeah,
you find a lot of people, like mostly in med school, just not, I won't say living the life, but just because of that fear of failure, we kind of like restricted and limited to like just, you're just trying to get the grades. It can get a bit very stressful, a
yeah,
lot stressful. Like you hear a lot of people, there's that statistics of like, suicidal risk and whatnot, because mental health, if not correctly managed, can go a bit overboard. And it's been very challenging, but going through it, it's just about learning how to prioritize your fitness, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional well-being, and even like your work-life balance. Because for us and most people in the Western countries, where you have to balance full-time studies and a full workload of work as well, work life, like work study balance, can be very tricky.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, just learning to manage that and can really promote your mental health and going through that phase in life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
what about work? Like, talk to us a little bit about the stress of actually being like a medical practitioner and what that entails.
it's being a medical practitioner, because you do have people's life and health outcomes in your hands. So it's very, we know what the profession entails, because literally people's lives are in your hands, a wrong mishap or a wrong diagnosis could lead to can affect someone's like health for a long time. So it can be very stressful having that, like, knowing that in the back of your head, you don't no mistakes, like there's no ground for mistakes. You try not to make mistakes and whatnot, but being human and whatnot, they do happen.
Yeah.
Um, so that stress, not just on you, but on your mental health as well. So you do have your personal mental health issues you're dealing with, and then you come to work having in mind other people's, health problems on your mind as well, that you're trying to help them. You're trying to help and not to, like, make the problem worse. So that can be very stressful under mental health as well. So it's always good to, like, go back home and debrief and, yeah, do whatever you can to, like, refix your mental health as well. You don't want to carry all that baggage home at the end of the day.
Exactly. We have to leave that baggage at work and
Yeah.
come back and be present the next day.
Mhm.
And in that, we will take a break just to have some ads, and just so we'll come back in a minute.
Okay.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
Hello and welcome back to Confide on Clevnar TV. We're having some really great discussions with Dr. Mortty. Today's topic is doctor's orders for keeping mentally healthy. We've just gotten to know a little bit about our lovely guest here today, but now we just want to know some of the things in regards to keeping mentally healthy. So, Dr. Mortty, are you ready for us to continue?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So my next question to you is, to keep mentally healthy, what are the holistic practices that individuals need to do?
Okay, so being intentional about your mental health is one thing.
Yeah.
Being aware that your whole well-being is surrounded not just by your physical, your emotional, spiritual as well,
Yeah.
but just being aware of your mental health
Yeah.
and how to keep that in balance, not just being fit, go to the gym looking good, but your mental well-being is, I would say, one of the most important aspects of your total well-being.
Yes.
And there are some effective practices that have been in place that we practice, whether intentionally or
Mhm.
even not intentionally, that can help with your mental health and your mental well-being.
Mhm.
The three main ones that we very common that we used to are the act, commit, and belong. Act, belong, and commit.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and that actually does play effectively when you follow that in regards to.
For the people that are not from Australia or Perth, can you just explain what is act, belong, commit?
So act, belong, commit. It's a three-phase principle that's been created to help check our mental health. Who created that? I which one of
There's a health organization called, um, I think it's Mentally Healthy or A Healthy Way, one of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they came up with this three very, practical ways of keeping mentally healthy, which is act, belong, and commit. And I'll just touch base on each of them as I know fit. You can add on to it as well because you're
Yeah.
very big in the mental health aspect area.
Yeah.
So with act, it's just being actively proactive, like physically, just actively keeping yourself active can also help with your mental health. Just
So
going.
definitely bringing that physical aspect, because obviously exercise, adrenaline, getting that pump also does what to us? Medically, you tell us.
Mhm. That helps with your the neurons in your brain. So when you physically, so your mind is connected to your body. Keeping
Hmm.
your body fit helps, like, it strengthens your mind. The adrenaline rush and whatnot kind of
Yeah,
like keeps you on the go. My mom always has the saying, the power of positive thinking.
exactly.
She's always had that ringing in my ears, like, just always being positive. Like, she's like, shake off all the negatives, push it all aside. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your brain. And
Exactly.
so just being proactive in your thoughts, in your walkabouts, in everything, like in your physical activity,
Hmm.
does like have an effect on your mental health as well.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. Belonging, the second
Hmm.
aspect, having a sense of belonging, just, just being in a space where you feel like you belong, like amongst your peers, amongst your family,
Yeah.
amongst your loved ones, like even in your workplace,
Yeah.
does affect you mentally.
And
um,
it's a very important part of keeping mentally healthy, having that sense of belonging, because
yeah.
a lot of unfortunate events such as suicide or a decline in mental health is a result of isolation. Yes, there are some people who are introverts and enjoy their own space, but
Mhm.
sometimes prolonged space can open the door to negative thoughts. People of faith may say it opens a door for the enemy to
Yeah.
speak his evil. But yeah, that is why it's very important. So belonging doesn't just mean going out everywhere and connecting with everyone. Maybe it's just having that one person that
Yeah.
makes you feel like you're grounded here. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Just
continue.
having that sense of belonging, that social network or support network around you. It doesn't have to be a whole social class. You don't have to go have a whole group of friends and whatnot. If you do have that, that's fine. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
But sometimes just that one support network or two around you that makes you feel like you do belong is very important. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing.
And then the last one, act
The
and
last one, being commit. That's just committing yourself to the things that you do. So just even if it's meditation, if it's, like you said, sometimes just having alone time for yourself as well, like a solo time, but praying, meditation, whatever makes you feel like you committed to something or commit to something, like join a social club, do something that, you belong to, you commit to, and it's yeah, it does with the
definitely.
mental health.
And for the creatives, committing is also being true to your practice. If
Mhm.
you're a poet, constantly having that in place when you're going through hard times. If you're a musician, channeling your music.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that works well with your hands, if you're somebody in the IT space and you like to create things and make things, that's another way of committing to something that gives
Yeah.
you purpose. Because I think a lot of people who have experienced suicidal attempts or thoughts is that lack of drive and purpose in life. And I
Hmm.
think that's why committing is so important, because it not only gives you like that sense of something to do, but it also gives you that responsibility. Because I've heard a lot of people sometimes say that they don't really have a driving factor in their life. They're just living day by day. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of us have dreams and aspirations that we chase for, and there are some people that have been through a lot, and every day is a struggle. And so for them, just living day by day is a goal. And
Mhm.
so that's why it is so important to realize that commitment is not just, work and studies and stuff. Sometimes it's just being the person that you
Channeling, yeah, your
are.
inside, the inner you as well.
Exactly. So yeah, and that's a really good message to share. So we hope that the viewers out there are, people who are acting, belonging, and committing.
Yeah.
But aside from, I guess, the things that we like to say, remember, we want our doctor to tell us holistically what else do we need to do, because I think we need to drink more water, and I think we need to sleep as well. So what are some other things that keep us
All
mentally
that,
healthy?
all that in summary fits in the act, belong, and commit. I just couldn't like spread it all out because when you talk
Yes.
when I talk about physical health, it's not just exercise, your
Yeah.
nutrition as well.
There
Drink
you go.
water,
And drink plenty, plenty of water.
yeah, have enough sleep, all
Yes.
the basic things like the
Why
come
why
together.
is sleep important? I think people don't realize this thing
Oh,
like that.
we've all gone through where 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep because you have to get through an assignment and whatnot. But then we know the effect that it has on us the next day when you
Yeah.
wake up with lack of sleep and
Yeah.
you just groggy the whole day. It affects your whole day. Sleep is very important because your brain, your body works the whole day.
Mhm.
So it needs time to rest and reset as
Yeah.
well. So like we do like monitoring like stress exercise and sleep test, and then you find a lot of people lack of sleep can affect you proactively, not just in a day, but it can actually affect you for weeks and sometimes
Exactly.
even a
And
lifelong.
it,
Yeah.
it can affect relationships as well,
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
lot of times lack of sleep or lack of sufficient sleep
Hmm.
makes you irritable, and people don't see it. They think they're functioning fine, but you
The
start
time of
to
the
become,
hormones.
you
Oh,
know, a bit more snappy, less
yeah.
patient, and just frustrated all around. So just like the beauty for children is that whenever they're discomforted, they can cry. But
Yeah.
as we grow and we mature, we learn to suppress these emotions, and people don't realize that irritability is just an adult's way of crying out that I'm tired,
Yeah.
and I need a break. Yeah. So
Exactly. Yeah. It does show on your
yeah,
skin, breakouts and whatnot. Some
yeah,
of these things happen because of lack of sleep or when you're not eating properly, you're not following your nutrition. So you have
yeah,
to like commit and make time for like being aware of your mental health. It's not just okay, I have to meditate. I want to be like,
mhm.
mentally well. It's all these little things that come together. Eating
Exactly.
healthy, you know.
Exactly. And even when you're talking about eating healthy, I know there's times when I have like a very stressful life and I just be eating on junk food and I feel like I just get quick energy and
Mhm.
then it drops.
And then
But
it
then
drops, yeah.
when I really watch myself, because I'm somebody who, has a very balanced, healthy diet, when I am eating the right foods and stuff, I just feel like even if with limited sleep, I feel like I have energy to some degree,
Yeah.
obviously when I'm not low on iron. But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's another thing that can
The
mess up with your
nutrients.
mental health.
Hmm. So
So
nutrition is not just the food, but what's in the food, the nutrients in the food.
yeah,
That's why now, thanks to advanced medicine and whatnot, we've got all these supplements
yeah,
for nutrients that if you're lacking in your food, you can get. So say for people that are low on iron, magnesium, even vitamin D, like if you don't go out in the sun often, if you always like stuck indoors, like if your work base is just homework like in an office or something and you don't get like sometimes just go to the beach if there's a beach near you or just going out for some sunshine it's
yeah,
it's good enough. And thanks to advanced medicine all these supplements are there, so if you're not able to get that out there, like if you work or your life doesn't allow you to get that naturally from outside, you can always have the supplements because it does help not just your physical because your physical health, but also like your mental health. Because if you're low on iron, you can get a bit it
fuzzy.
your energy gets
Yeah,
low and yeah, you're just down for the whole day. So that's why you have to up on your iron, your magnesium, and all
yeah.
the other important supplements that you need in your nutrition as well.
Definitely. As a person who is struggling with this whole anemia, low iron deficiency, I can tell you it does impact your mental health. And I think with African people, we're so resilient. We're always wanting to work hard, even when we're tired. Sometimes we don't realize that tired is not just physical tired, like you're actually losing nutrients that you need. Like for me, I definitely have realized that when my iron is low, I'm fuzzy in the mind. I can't
Mhm.
remember properly. I'm irritable. I'm just cranky. Everything is just not right. So,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised what a little bit of nutrients can do in
Thank
your life, you
you.
know.
That's right.
So, get everything checked out, my guys. Make sure you have all your supplements. And, if you don't like meat like me, like red meat, then there are other solutions to getting your levels up. So, I have our next question I wanted to ask you is your spirituality a part of what you do at work? And do you think this is your healing power?
Spirituality for me, it's a very big thing. It can mean different people.
Yeah.
But to me, the term spirituality, it just comes to confirm like your whole existence.
Yeah.
Um, Having that existential belief outside. And for me, because like growing up, I always said, oh, so I want to do this, I want to be that, but it's just that belief process in my mind. So it's a really big thing for me. Um, because 5 years ago, I didn't know I would be here. I just knew, okay, I had this vision, I want to be there. But how to get there, it was just a belief process. It was the faith for me. So I've always had that faith that I don't even know where I'm going to be 5 years from now, but I do have my plans, my goals, my visions, and whatnot. But I just have this faith that there is someone above. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. So I do know that He's been in charge my whole life and whatnot. And even in my workplace, like in my life, in work, in my family, with my loved ones and everything, there's always that stronghold behind me that I know is impacting my every move. So like say you're having a bad day at work or like, work colleagues and whatnot, this I just know that there's that strong drive behind me that's pushing me to be me and do me.
And
Um
I like that you said that because, a lot of people get iffy with the question of spirituality. Like, it's not just about religion. It's
yeah.
like, obviously, this is our physical body, but we're talking about mental health. And the reason why I pose the question about spirituality is people don't realize that a lot of things when it comes to knowing yourself, your mental health, is more than just the flesh. There are things that people can feel, the sensories, because for me, I'm somebody that I feel sensations and it affects me mentally.
Yeah.
Just when I walk into a room and there's an energy that is negative, I feel choked up because my spirit has gone before me and it knows that this is not a safe space. And straight away, my mind starts to get bothered. And then with positive spaces, like I don't even need to pray. If I go into a positive space or if I'm connecting with a positive person, I'm at peace. For me, I know myself so well, so I'm able to tap into that. The people that bring out the nastiest version of me, I feel are not the safest space. And it's really hard because sometimes people don't realize why relationships don't work out and why like they have so many conflicts and issues with people. But if you're not aware of yourself and you're in tune with yourself, sometimes you disconnect from the spiritual aspect of
Yeah.
knowing what's happening outside of this body bag that you're carrying.
Yeah.
But yeah, but in regards to also just you and your energy and what you do you feel like that's kind of part of your healing power?
I like that you talked about energy and like having that connection with people because sometimes it's beyond just the physical connection or what we see on the
Yeah.
outside. Sometimes it's just a deeper this a deeper meaning or deeper reasoning behind like the connection that we have with people. And I feel
Yeah.
like spirituality does like account for that. And with me mentally, it's helped me like personally with it's been like my strong healing power
Mm.
in terms of relationships, in terms of my like resilience and in what I do. So
Yeah.
it's like exactly what you'd said, like just getting that vibe and energy that you get, the connection that you get with people, like because it's a mind thing. It's like a mind and soul thing. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a connection between the mind and the soul that
Mm-hmm.
mentally, like, if you become aware, you would understand. Because if you're not aware, you wouldn't understand why, like, you're not feeling a certain kind of energy or a certain kind of drive to do
And I
something.
think it's also really important
Mm,
because the same way people have, your personal autonomy and you know who you are, if you don't know what's going on sensation wise, so like maybe let's not say spiritual because some people will still be on religion,
mm,
sensation wise, if you're
sensation,
not
yeah,
sensitive, if you're not open to your senses, your touch, your smell, your sight, and everything that tingles within you, if you're not connected to that, other people are able to program you and
yeah,
tell you how you feel. And I think the scariest thing, especially being someone who is mentally aware, is that there are so many people who will want to tell you how you feel, who will want to tell you what's going on in your mind. And it's really frustrating because it's like, I know how I feel. I know what I like and what I don't like. Don't come and tell me what it is, you know? So it's also hard because mentally that's where people don't realize, like, also I'm a Christian. For the people that are online, I think that's why it's so important to guard your mind and your heart,
hmm,
because there's so many things that happen. And the way that I make sure to do that is obviously, with the health just in general. So obviously, the practices, eating healthy, doing everything, but also doing exercises. Like, I not only do I do physical exercise, but I've tried to like combine things. So when I'm like, doing my physical workout, whatever, I
yeah,
will be listening to affirmations or things that stimulate me or keep me checked. And then if I'm eating, then sometimes I may be reading scripture or reading things that, feed my spirit man. So it doesn't have to be all religious based. Sometimes I've really tapped into a lot of the motivational speakers and great people in this world because there's something unique about people who've done so well in this world. They have grasped their mind
hmm,
and they are able to channel it into the direction that they want. People always wonder, why this person? How come this person was able to
yeah.
do this and I wasn't able to do that? It's because it's discipline. The same way you see athletes, working out, exercising, doing whatever, to be able to get to the point where you establish and you become the version of yourself that you dreamt of. It's a
Mhm.
lot of discipline. And like you
Yeah,
shared,
it's a lot of work as well. Yeah.
yeah, and like you shared earlier, like, to become, a medical doctor now, there's a lot of discipline in place. There were a lot of things that you had to do. Physically, yes, there are things that you had to do to keep yourself healthy, but also mentally, there were things that you had to, get yourself adjusted to. It was uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
that was part of the process. And, that's something that people don't realize is so important. It's not that, oh, these people think that they're better than everybody, but these people are taking control of something that is actually very fragile.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most valuable things in this world, but people don't treat it. You see, people will put like gold in, like, safes. They'll put
Mhm.
like oils are so expensive to get. Like, people are going to war for oils and stuff and all these, valuable substances on this earth. But when it comes to people's mind, they don't protect it.
Mm.
They just allow
That's
anybody and
very
everybody to come through.
yeah.
So yeah. Um. So now I want to ask you something.
Mhm.
Um. If you had all the money in the world, right? All the money,
Okay. All the money.
all
Okay.
the money. Don't worry, not billionaire status or millionaire status. Just you just had all the money in the world.
What about time? Or is it just money?
Girl, if you have money, then maybe you have time.
Can
Rich
buy time?
people
No,
they have
no, no.
control of wealth.
If I had to choose between money and time, I don't know. Maybe you would choose
You don't want to live
time
forever.
to make the money.
You
What do
don't
you
want to
have
live
the money
forever.
and no time?
Money is the problem. See, if you have money,
Okay.
you can buy time. You know.
Yeah. Oh,
So uh,
okay. Question.
if you had all the money in the world, what sort of space would you like to see, like for mental health?
Yeah. All the money. Like,
Mm.
I'm already thinking what I'm doing with all that money. And so with all the money in the world, so it's all just gonna be with me. Okay. Uh,
Okay, Miss Green. We want money for the community. Okay, if you had all the money in the world to spend on community.
okay, now you're talking, right? Because I was like, well, so obviously, big on my passion, which is, obviously the heart, and also just to help other people achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
So I would definitely want to achieve my dreams, gain that knowledge that I'm passionate about, get the skill set and whatnot, where I can help in that aspect, where I can be of help. But then again, I would also want to, money is for everyone. Use
Yeah.
that to impact others, not just giving them the money, but impact them to be able to follow their dreams as well, chase their passions, develop themselves as well,
Mm.
grow themselves as well. Both not just personal growth and whatnot, but also like, create more awareness for people to be aware of their mental health and how that connects with their whole physical well-being, because
Yeah.
it is a big issue. And I feel like some people in the world are a bit disconnected from that. Like, they're dealing with other things that they have no time to like actually like mature and develop their mental health or even be aware of it. So things like that, that's where the money would go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
I mean, let's say if a doctor was in this space, what would that look like?
I'm yeah, just helping people. Like, I'm very passionate about helping people achieve their goals and dreams, not just like, in the health profession.
Yeah.
So as a doctor, that's my passion, that's my dream, that's what I'm doing. But just seeing other people achieve what they want to do, be it anything, like whatever it is, it's gonna be a big goal for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
No, thank you so much. I always love having conversations with you, and we
Yeah.
could go on forever and
I know
ever.
you. I keep
Uh,
going.
but we want to just leave people wanting more. So, if people want to get to know a little bit more about you, obviously there is a post on Clevnar just sharing your own experiences. But how can they reach you, Dr. Morty?
Oh, in terms of social networks, I am on LinkedIn
Yeah.
as I don't know if I've got the doctor slash as Gertrude Morty.
Yes.
So you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. No worries at all, Doctor. We appreciate you so much. It has been such an amazing conversation. And like I said, there's so much we could talk about, and I promise you there will be more. But
Yeah.
just, just
Thanks
because
for having
I
me. Thanks for
thank
having me, Lebanon. Yeah.
thank you so much. And also, we want to thank Klebnard because this is our last conversation here. Obviously, I will have one more segment just sharing how people can access mental health services. But it has been definitely a pleasure. And for the people, like I said, who are tuning in for the very first time, please sign up and subscribe to Klebnar so that you can be able to watch great conversations like this here. It has been a privilege, it has been an honor to be able to touch lives and create awareness of mental health issues here. So today, our topic was doctor's orders for keeping mentally healthy. My name is Josephine Zimama, and I am the CEO of CONFIDE. Thank you, and goodbye.